Welcome back, students. As I mentioned before going for a break that in this session we are going to discuss this topic, important topic of reverse logistics. Let's go. I have already explained briefly. I've given you an overall view, a macro view of what reverse logistics is all about. Let's go to our presentation and see the actual definition of reverse logistics. As always, please refer to few of the very key and important points as far this particular function is concerned. As a process of moving goods from their place of use, what is the place of use? Who use the goods? It's the consumers who are using the goods. So, it is a movement. Forward logistics was moving the material from its place of production to the place of use, from the manufacturer to the customer. Let us see the definition on the screen. It is the movement of the goods from the place of use, that is from the customers back to their place of manufacturing for reprocessing, refilling, repairs, recycling or waste disposal. It is a planned process of movement of goods in reverse direction, effective process. It has to be cost efficient matter through an organized network. It is an integrated system and organization supply chain management. It refers to the skills of logistics management to reduce, manage or dispose of waste arising from products and inputs. So, reverse logistics, as we had just mentioned, it is the journey of a product back to its point of origin for different reasons. Before going for break, we had only emphasized on the point that reverse logistics is a cost function. It adds to the cost. It does add to the cost, but at the same time we will also learn that reverse logistics also helps us in recycling, in using the products, in recycling a particular product. For instance, in soft drinks industry, once a soft drink is consumed, particularly the glass bottles, they are being sent back for refilling. So, a company is not required to manufacture glasses every time that they produce a bottle of soft drinks, but that is not always the case, as I said. Now, we are going to see specifically each and every function or each and every area for which reverse logistics apply. Let us see the slide. So, this is the process. We will stop here for a moment. We will see the diagram very carefully. This diagram shows us both the forward as well as the reverse movement of goods. So, it actually shows the reverse flow of good. It has to be retrieved from a customer, then transported, then received at a sorting center or a repair center or a distribution center. It is then sent to, it is accumulated at a particular center, sorted, sent to for inspection, to what extent it needs to be repaired. In case it is damaged, it needs to be remanufactured. It is sorted and then they are subject to different functions, different activities. What are these activities? They could be resold, they could be recycled, they could be sold as scrap, and etc., etc., etc. The other very important aspect of reverse logistics is the information flow. Is the information gathered during reverse logistics process being rationalized, utilized effectively? Carrier tracking, internal tracking, business rules, third party tracking, etc. Because reverse logistics is, if you have to understand, there was a very complicated process involved in the forward logistics. From the time it was manufactured, a particular product was manufactured, till the time it was made available to a customer. It went through several channels, it moved through several companies, several facilities. In the reverse logistics process also, it is extremely important that a company follows a very systematic process oriented activity or process oriented reverse logistics flow, because ultimately a particular item which are being retrieved also has certain value. It may be resold, it can be reused, it can be manufactured, and also this needs to be returned back to the customer after a certain point of time. So, all that was required, all that discipline process that was exercised in the forward logistics also need to be exercised in the reverse logistics process. Let us concentrate on the next slide. Reasons. Why is reverse logistics? Why do reverse logistics is required? So, these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reasons for which a reverse logistics process, a reverse logistics activity is required or exercised by a particular company. Quite often when a shipment is delivered to a customer, it can be a consumer good or an industrial good, may not satisfy the need of the customer. A TV which is delivered to a customer or a washing machine delivered to a customer, it can be an electronic, it can be an electrical gadget, it can be an apparel or whatever it may be. If that item does not perform or function to the satisfaction of the customer, has to be retrieved by the manufacturer and sent back for replacement or repair. There are items which are procured by customer for a short period of time and they pay rental for that particular period. So, here there is no question of non-performance or defect or repairs or damages. Furniture, for instance, sometimes furniture, there are a lot of other items as well which are procured or obtained by a customer for a short period of time. Once the period is over, when the contract period is over, the shipment, the item needs to be picked up from the customer and sent back to the place of origin, to the owner of that particular shipment. So, that is another reason. Let us go back to the slide and see the other reasons as well. Return sent to manufacturer for repairs or refills. In this case, a particular item may be functioning, but certain repairs are required. Then, as I had mentioned earlier, refilling. We referred soft drinks in glass bottles. We also have seen refills happening in reusable containers. We have seen the cylinders, the gas cylinders used for cooking at our homes. Once they are used, once a particular cylinder is used, it is again sent back to the manufacturer for refilling. Return of inputs not used by manufacturer, goods not sold by distributor. So, a manufacturer procures a number of items, lot of components from its supplier, as well as distributor who buys or procures lot of items from the manufacturer which are not sold and not required by them. Maybe they become obsolete for whatever reasons it may be. Maybe you have seen there are a lot of products which has certain date up to which that product can be used. Medicines, food items, once that expiry date exceeds, they need to be picked up from the customer and sent back to the manufacturer. exchange of new products for the old ones. We see this happening every now and then in the industry, that once an item becomes obsolete and not required by a customer, but it can be modified and resold. So, manufacturer would pick up that item from the customer. The customer can be a company, maybe an individual. It will pick up, retrieve that item, modify, sell as scrap, whatever it may be, but ultimately there will be a reverse logistics activity that will be performed between the customer back to the manufacturer. Goods sent for upgradation or modification. There are number of items which are used, which can be returned, not because that they are damaged, not because they are not performing, but they need some modification, they need some improvement in their features. So, such items can be, suppose a particular machinery which needs certain upgradation, some advancement, some modification, some modernization is required to enhance its performance. That particular machine or any particular item will be picked up from the consumer or the point of use back to the manufacturer. And also we have seen reverse logistics being applied for recycling of product. We will again come back to the example of a soft drink company. We mentioned about the glass bottles being refilled, being sent back to the plant, cleaned and refilled, whereas the plastic PET bottles, what happens to the plastic PET bottles? They are also recycled, they are reused, they are destroyed, and they are used for a different product, for instance toys, plastic toys. They are no more used for the soft drinks. They are not used for soft drinks, but they are not thrown away. They are not thrown away as garbages, because that would cause pollution to the environment. They are rather made use, reuse to make a different product, and one of them, as I said, are kids' toys. So, these are the 7 or 8 reasons for which reverse logistics is exercised, the concept of reverse logistics exercise. Let us go to the next slide. Quite obviously, when we compare forward and reverse logistics, there is always a difference. There are always certain comparisons that we can always make between forward and reverse logistics. What are the comparisons between a forward and a reverse logistics? Let us see the slide and read them out. Forecasting for forward logistics is, in fact, goods that are manufactured and sent to the customers are based on certain demand forecasts. It is based on the requirement by the customer. But once goods are produced, we are not certain that the goods are to be returned back. We have no idea. If a company has produced, say, let us take an example. If a company has produced 100 units of any product, suppose television sets, and when the company, this is based on the market demand, the company knows that the market requires 100 units of television sets. So, he would exercise the forward logistics and ensure 100 units of television sets are produced and delivered to the customer. But when he produces 100 television sets or 100 washing machines or 100 ceiling fans, whatever it may be, he is not aware, he is not certain whether few of these items will be sent back for repair, for replacement or whatever it is. So, while forecasting forward logistics is simple, the reverse is not true. The forecasting or reverse logistics. So, it is, if you cannot forecast the volume of goods that is going to travel through the supply chain, it is very difficult to plan the logistics. When you know you have to carry 100 items, 100 units of television sets, you can design your supply chain accordingly. You know the space that the warehouse would require to store those 100 television sets. 100 is just an hypothetical figure. It could be 1000, it could be lakhs. You also know the number of trucks, you know the number of laborers that you need to carry these people, you know the amount of packaging materials required to pack these 100 sets. So, the entire supply chain process can be easily designed based on this forecast. But how would you design your reverse logistics when you are not aware the number of items that are retrieved? Let us go back to the slide again and read the other ones. So, forecasting is one, very difficult. One to many distribution points, many to one distribution points. Product quality is informed, product quality not informed. Next two. So, very funny, if you just see over here on the board. So, a manufacturer from one point to many distribution points. So, a manufacturer can send his product to many distributors. So, one distributor can send the shipment to many retailers and one retailer can send it to many customers. But in the reverse logistics process, it is many customers that would send the shipment back to a retailer. Many retailers would send the shipment back to the distributor that it received the shipment from, and in turn many distributor is involved in sending the shipment back to one particular manufacturer. Correct? When the shipment is moved, we spoke of television, we spoke of washing machines, we spoke of fan, we spoke of it could be a cell phone, it can be whatever it may be. When the product moves from the manufacturer to the customer, the quality of all the 100 sets are uniform, they are same. But during reverse logistics, the different items that are sent are not in the same shape, size, quality, they are in different forms. Some are fully damaged, some are to be repaired, some needs restructuring, some needs advancement, some needs modification. So, that is another difference between forward and reverse logistics. While forward logistics, the feature and the quality remains the same. When the shipments are returned, the quality of the product of different products are different from one another, right. Read the next two. Product packaging, destination routing. When I say packaging, very important. We gave an example of television sets, 100 television sets, they are packed uniformly, they are labeled uniformly when they move from manufacturer to the distributor to the retailer to the customer. But when they are sent back, all this, suppose out of 100 shipment, hypothetically suppose 10 shipments are sent back. Now, all these 10 shipments may not have the same packaging because it is being handled by the customer differently. Some would have totally torn away the packaging material, somebody would have disposed of the packing material, somebody would have retained the packing material, somebody may not have opened the packing material. So, while the packaging material was uniform, while retaining the shipments, the 10 shipments, the packaging of all the 10 items are different from one another. The destination and the routing, it is very clear. I know from where to where the shipment would move, but when I return the shipment, I do not know from where the shipment is coming from and where it would go, based on the need, based on whether it is to be replaced, to be destroyed, to be modified. So, the reverse journey is not uniform. Here all the 100 shipments, 100 television sets follow the same route, same transportation mode, same everything, but that is not true for the reverse logistics. Let us discuss the other two. Disposition options clear. pricing relatively uniform, pricing different on many factors, importance of speed is recognized, speed often not considered a priority. Now, when you send a shipment from a manufacturer to a customer, there is always a time frame, you always have a target in terms of the time that is required by the customer. You know that the shipment has to be delivered within 1 week of time. But in terms of reverse logistics, the general tendency is that you are flexible in terms of timing, because as I said, reverse logistics are for various reasons. So, we are not sure, even the customers do not specify a particular time. They expect generally the shipment to be retrieved or brought back after repair or substitution or replacement as fast as possible. So, a general window is given, not a specific timing. But in case of forward logistics, the companies, every company is involved, has to exercise from the manufacturer to dealer, from dealer to retailer, retailer to customer, they have to exercise a certain period of time, a certain transit time for delivery. Let us go back to the slide. Pricing relatively uniform, pricing dependent on many factors. The price of all the 100 television sets, they were uniform. You will not see a price of a particular brand of television or a model of a television is different. For a particular company, one particular company, a particular model will be priced uniformly. But in the case of reverse logistics, as I said, the price will differ, the cost of logistics, it is different because every particular product has its own reasons for being sent back. So, different reasons, different intensity, the price sometime may be high, the cost sometime may be low. Let us go and read the other reasons, other comparisons. Forward distribution costs easily visible, reverse costs less directly visible. Inventory management consistent, inventory management not consistent, product life cycle manageable, product life cycle issues more complex. In forward logistics, negotiation between parties are straightforward, negotiations complicated by additional considerations. Under forward logistics, marketing methods are well known. In reverse logistics, marketing complicated by several factors. In forward logistics, the overall visibility of the process is very visible. Forward distribution cost, there is a cost involved, the manufacturer distributing, sending to the distributor sending to the retailer, and everybody has a specific and clear idea as to how much would it cost for the shipment to be sent from his facility to the distributor or the distributor to the retailer. But when a shipment is returned, it is subject to lot of uncertain logistics process. When would it be picked up? How will it be picked up? Will it be picked up along with other items? Will it exercise economies of scale? Will it be picked up on isolation based off a customer's need or urgency? Will it go to the center which requires replacement? Would it go for certain repairs? Would it go for total destruction? Is it going for refilling? Is it going for recycle? So, here the requirement is very, very simple. It is being sent, it is being dispatched, it is being moved from one point to the other for the simple reason that the product is to be sold. It is traveling from manufacturer to the extreme customer, the reason being that the product needs to be sold to the customer. But the reason for which the shipment is sent back are variable, are numbers, are different, and we have studied that in couple of slides before. There are 8 to 10 reasons for which shipments are sent back to the point of origin, from the point of usage to the point of origin. So, the cost determination is much easier for forward logistics, is much more complicated for reverse logistics. Product life cycle, it is manageable. Manageable means, what is a product life cycle? The duration or the time till such time that the product is used and the time when the product expires. That is the time when the product is no more used by the customer, that period. So, I know for sure whether it is a television set or a cell phone or even a pen or a shirt, what is the longevity, what is the product life cycle. I know it is maybe a few months, maybe few years or whatever it may be, depending upon a particular product. So, a life cycle is known, it is quite simple to forecast or predict the life cycle. But what about reverse logistics? Not sure. How long it would travel, how long it will remain in the system, whether at all it can be replaced, whether at all it can be repaired. There would be negotiations between the customer and the manufacturer in terms of what the customer would need and what the manufacturer would be able to provide. There are a number of times when a customer expects total replacement, where the manufacturer would probably opt for some repairs. A replacement would cost a manufacturer a hell lot of money. So, there are different reasons. So, we are unable to determine the product life cycle in the reverse logistics system. And when a shipment, when a particular product needs repair, its life cycle generally is reduced. If a particular component or a part of a particular any product, whether it is an electrical gadget, it is an electronic product, whatever product it may be, if it needs certain repair, the very fact that it has been repaired to an extent generally reduces the life cycle of the total product. So, if you see, while reverse logistics is predictable, the process is predictable, the costs are predictable, the systems are uniform, the designing of the supply chain can be determined. The reverse is not true. Reverse logistics is always very complicated and it cannot be planned in advance. That is the biggest problem with all logistics managers, that they cannot plan the reverse logistics process. Let us go back and see the other points as well. Marketing methods are well known, whereas in reverse logistics there is marketing complicated by several factors. So, we will just freeze the frame on this particular slide and see the differences on forecasting. The differences lie in forecasting, distribution, quality, packaging, routing, disposition, pricing, speed of the movement of the shipment, distribution cost, forward distribution cost and reverse distribution cost. Inventory management. On inventory management, I would like to say over here, inventory management we have discussed. Inventory management is an extremely important and significant component and activity in the supply chain process. Inventory management and transportation management, two very important and significant area of supply chain. I am moving 100 units of television sets from the manufacturer to the customer. So, every unit at every place or every facility it moves And mind you, we are just have taken 100 as an hypothetical figure. It runs into several thousands and lakhs of units of any industrial goods or any consumer goods that we talk of. We are talking of several lakhs and tons of material being moved through the process. Inventory management obviously becomes very critical. The cost of inventory, the efficiency of managing inventory is extremely critical. In the forward logistics, I am very clear, the company is very clear that he has to manage hundreds units of television sets in the entire process. So, they can plan the warehousing, they can plan the entire inventory process, they can plan the material handling within the warehouse or between two warehouses or facilities. But since the number of units that are to be retrieved, replaced are not known, inventory management becomes totally distorted. We cannot decide how much inventory management would be required, because we are not certain about the number of shipments being sent back. So, this uncertainty in reverse logistics causes a lot of lack of planning in inventory management. So, the cost estimation becomes a problem, and more often than not, company lands up paying a lot of money, additional fund in managing inventory for reverse logistics shipment. So, we will go to the next slide. This is one definition we should read once again. This is one definition we have read earlier in inbound and outbound logistics. We are going to briefly, and this is the last slide for today's session. We are going to discuss more on reverse logistics in our next session on Tuesday. It is a well planned, customized. What does a reverse logistics do? A well planned, well processed, customized reverse logistics will reduce storage, distribution cost, improve brand reputation, create more sustainable business practice, and satisfy customer demands. Reverse logistics is a type of inbound freight that most companies are losing money on. It is seen as an expensive, complex challenge, and many companies avoid managing it. So, one thing that we all must remember about reverse logistics is, let us see the board. Reverse logistics is an inbound logistics. Reverse logistics is inbound logistics, because the shipment is being sent back and coming back to all the facilities concerned, all the units involved. So, it is an inbound logistics. And the other most important factor of reverse logistics is that it is exercised because it enhances the brand of a particular organization. It enhances the brand and reputation of an organization. A company who is flexible and who is prepared to replace, recover, because a customer spends a lot of money in buying products, particularly industrial products, crores of rupees, millions of dollars of money are spent. Even for consumer goods, people are investing money on a particular item, and if that item does not perform, if that item is found damaged, the buyer expects the company to replace and compensate through replacement or repairs. If a certain company does and the other company does not do, the other company who is not exercising reverse logistics will lose a lot of brand image in the market. You would have seen the e-commerce companies in e-commerce are exercising reverse logistics to a large extent to ensure that they retain the image of the company in the market. We are going to end our session today over here. There is a lot to discuss about reverse logistics, but that we are going to do in the next session. And as promised, discussions are going on. I discussed about two factors. One was the assessment and the evaluation, and the other one was a workshop where I would meet the students or the viewers who are attending these classes. We will meet them. We will all meet together in person and clarify and discuss more on the topic and the subject. I wish all of you a very happy weekend and see you again next Tuesday. Thank you very much.